If the meeting is not too technical, right? Skip the for your information slides or any background, right? And send a pre-read deck instead. So what do I mean by a pre-read deck? For those who may not have encountered this yet. A pre-read deck is an attachment. It could be an MS Word, a PowerPoint, a PDF. It could be a website. It could be a link. It could be an attachment sent via Google Drive or Microsoft OneDrive that attendees can digest in advance before the actual meeting. These are usually who is your, for example, if I'm a consultancy company and I'm meeting a client, instead of spending too much time introducing myself to the client, I'll be sending them a pre-read deck about what my company does. This way, I'm asking them to read it in advance so that during the meeting, we can skip that part and go straight into discussing what do we need to do? How much is the price? What are the logistics and the admins that are concerned for this project? So that way, you don't lose the very reason why you set up the meeting, because that's my biggest issue. You're given 1 hour, 30 minutes is spent on introduction, and you only have 30 minutes or 15 minutes left. That's not enough time to make decisions. Your goal is to make ample time that decisions are thought well by all the participants. So, what I like about pre-read decks, number one, instead of putting them into slides, which can even set you back with a lot of time, don't make those slides. Send them what you already have. If you have a brochure, if you have a PDF, if you have a website of your company's products, send that to them. Make them read it. Make them digest it. And by the way, when you're sending a pre-read deck, don't send it a day before because that's just rude. Send them a week before, 3 days before, 4 days before, so that they know that they are given enough time to also digest the document. Number two, because you're sending them a pre-read deck, it saves you X amount of minutes from discussing the easy stuff. I discussed this a while ago. The goal is that you have more time for decision making. And finally, number three, here's my litmus test. And this is the tricky part that I'm always curious to know. Whenever I send pre-read deck, I find ways in discovering who opened my attachment. So there are a lot of software like this. If you attended my private webinars, if you've been one of my clients, one of my favorite free apps is called, there are so many of them on the internet. One of them is HubSpot. So HubSpot is a software that you can embed on Outlook or on Gmail. It allows you to check who opened your email and who opened the attachments, right? So it's a good way to test which attendees are taking your agenda seriously. It gives you an idea which ones are diligent because they're interested probably about the agenda of your meeting. Okay? Can I get a letter R? Who here has already sent a pre-read deck in their past careers? Maybe last week, maybe last year. When you had an opportunity, you've sent one because you wanted to save time and you wanted to be efficient. Right? So thank you. Daphne says, excellent tip. Nadine again says, I always do that, sending a pre-read to them. The thing is, when you ask them if they read it, no one is answering during the call. That is true. There are people like this. So it's a good way to test the energy and the engagement of your audience. If many of your participants did not read it, it only means two things. Either A, they're so busy about it, or number two, you need to step up in getting them excited about your meeting. Right? Daphne again, a pre-read always makes the meeting more effective. Attendees know what they are expecting and what's expected from them from the meeting. That is true. You know, when I attend meetings, I'm not the organizer, I'm just the one attending. Reading a pre-read deck gives me the idea, these guys are serious. They sent me this information. They sent me these slides. Now I know better who they are. Because most of the time, people research about a stranger by stalking them on Google search, right? So you don't get to curate what kind of image you want to portray to them. If you send them a pre-read deck, you get to control how you are portrayed by that party, especially if you are meeting them for the first time. Okay. Oh, I like this also from Hubbard, so that they can come prepared with their inputs. So here's what I like about pre-read deck. Sometimes when I'm in the mood, I don't just ask them to read it, I give them assignments. And so in my meeting invitation, I say it out loud, please read the deck and please come to the meeting with the following questions answered. And I'll be randomly asking some participants to share their inputs. Question number one, question number two, question number three. That way, you already manage their mindset into knowing that these are going to be asked during the meeting and that they may prepare for it also. Okay, give us an exclamation mark if we are learning something so far. I hope we are. Again, there's a disclaimer here. Pre-read decks may take time. So don't be burdened to create a special PowerPoint presentation just for the pre-read deck. You can send them any other document, right? A website, a link, an existing PDF or brochure, whatever it is that they can read up, rather than coming to the meeting with zero knowledge about what is going to happen.